Hello, Chris Green here with the Flood Insurance Guru. Today we're talking about the new flood maps that are coming to the Aurora, Nebraska area in August of 2019. The big impacts it could have. Who's going to be impacted? Why are the flood maps changing? What are your flood insurance options? Those are the three things that we want to discuss in this video to help assist you in this process. First of all, let's talk about why are these flood maps changing? Well, this area has been going back and forth with FEMA for a few years on getting these maps updated. One reason is they're trying to shift from paper maps to digital maps. And this does a couple things. It helps them determine risk a lot better. It helps property owners understand the type of risk that are associated with a property a lot better. Updating digital maps is much easier than updating paper maps and reading them. So this is one of the reasons there. One of the other reasons, of course, is the history of flooding, the changing of land development. As these areas develop, additional flood risks develop. And so the need to update these maps is there. So that's why these maps are changing. And one question we get is, is the recent flooding impacting these maps? Not these, but it could impact some other ones. This study started in the last 3 years and was really finalized about a year ago. And FEMA gave the local community about a year to agree on it, which is where the flood map comes into place. So the previous flooding is not really associated much, but any flooding maybe 2 or 3 years before that could have been. So who's going to be impacted? Well, there's going to be about 12.5% of this area that's impacted by these flood zones. People are going to be getting letters from their mortgage company that says they're now in a high-risk flood zone. So, what can you do there? So, it's going to be about 12.5% of the population in the county where Aurora, Nebraska is. So, let's talk about what exactly are the options then? Well, you've got 3 options. You can do a policy through the National Flood Insurance Program, you can do a policy through the private market, or you could actually fight the flood zone change. So let's talk about those 3 briefly. If you've seen one of our previous videos or you've seen one of our previous blogs, we talk about what the difference is between the National Flood Insurance Program and private is. But quickly, what the difference is, the National Flood Insurance Program is through FEMA, the government, who sets the rates. They max the coverages out at $250,000 on building, residential, and $100,000 on contents. Private market does not. You can get a lot more coverage. Private market picks and chooses what risk they want. So if you've had a flood loss, private company may not take you. But you could possibly get a rate that's 30, 40, 50% less. So these are briefly some of the differences here. Now, why private? Why the National Flood Insurance Program? Which one's better for you? That's probably a deeper conversation you want to have with an insurance agent or someone who's got a background in flood like we do here at the Flood Insurance Guru. So please reach out to us, floodinsuranceguru.com, and we can help answer some of those questions. So then let's talk about, can you fight it? Yes, you can fight it. This is called a letter of map amendment. And what we do is we take some information that's on an elevation certificate or that's on a survey, the lowest adjacent grade, and we submit an application to FEMA that says, FEMA, you have this incorrect. Because you see, when they're determining maps, they're looking at the entire parcel, not just a structure. Well, the only way the flood insurance necessarily is going to be required is if the actual structure is in the high-risk flood zone. We recently did a video on driveways. So if your driveway is in a high-risk flood zone, but your house isn't, generally you're not going to be required to carry flood insurance by your mortgage company. That's the other way you're only going to be required to carry it, is maybe if you've taken disaster assistance in the past or you have an additional interest on the property. So if you've got questions about looking at options through the National Flood Insurance Program, the private market, or even getting your flood zone changed in Aurora, Nebraska with these new flood map updates coming, please reach out to us. floodinsuranceguru.com. Go to our YouTube and our Facebook channels, The Flood Insurance Guru, where we do daily flood education videos. You can also visit our open Facebook group, Flood Education and Flood Insurance Awareness, where we answer these questions as well. Remember, we have an educational background in flood mitigation. That means we can help you understand flood risks, like the one right here behind us, your flood insurance, and mitigating your property long-term to help you minimize flood losses and flood premiums. Thank you.